Well, we've reached the final video of my channel's extended 10th anniversary LEGO Thomas celebration, but I hope to go out with a bang. Today's new model, at least to get things started, is the narrow gauge engine Duncan. It's always fun to add to my Skarloey Railway fleet, and I continued my pattern of following the Railway series book colors by building Duncan in red, rather than his TV series yellow. Duncan was a particularly interesting build due to his unique proportions. His tall funnel and cab are a couple of his strongest identifying features. To reflect that, his smoke box sits a plate higher above the running board than Skarloey or Sir Handel. Cab heights, measured from the top of the running board, are one of the quantities I have very much standardized across my engines for consistent scaling. The standard cab height for my narrow gauge engines is 13 plates. However, I felt Duncan warranted an exception, so I bumped up his cab an additional plate. Another product of Duncan's proportions is that his smoke box sits 1/2 stud closer to his front end than my other narrow gauge engines. This causes his running board to be 11 studs long rather than the usual 12, even though his body is the same length. Despite the funky offset, the back of his cab aligns well with his rear end since the cab wall thins out towards the bottom. To connect the tiles for the bottom of that wall, I had to include some parts inside the cab itself, which I usually try to leave empty, but I think it was a necessary sacrifice that led to positive results for the model's overall appearance. For Duncan's curved steam pipes, I bent some red LEGO flex tube and cut it to size. As I've mentioned before, there have been official LEGO sets that involved cutting flex tube, so I'm okay with doing it when necessary for my models. Given Duncan's grumpy personality, I felt it fitting to give him a grumpy face, although I also created a smiling face to show him in a better mood. I did build a new piece of Skarloey Railway rolling stock alongside Duncan, but to explain its origins, we'll first have to take a brief detour. As most Thomas fans know, the Skarloey Railway is based on the real-life Talyllyn Railway in Wales, with Skarloey himself based on the railway's #1 engine, also named Talyllyn. Way back in December 2021, I modified some of my existing narrow gauge models to create digital designs for Talyllyn, as well as the railway's coaches and guards van. The inspiration to finally build the models physically came from an unexpected place. Although I haven't formally set this up like the instructions I sell, I've been doing some commissioned work creating physical LEGO models and stickers for people who have reached out to me directly. One customer requested that I rework Skarloey stickers for Talyllyn, and after I'd made the stickers for them, I figured it would be fun to build Talyllyn myself as well. Talyllyn is my first model based on a real-life engine, although he's basically a recolored Skarloey. I simplified his lining a bit for the LEGO model, but I think the dark green with gold and black lining still looks quite sharp. The Talyllyn Railway coach was a modification of my earlier Skarloey Railway coach design. The bottom half is a bit more complex to accommodate paneling. I ended up building the coach in medium nougat and red, choosing that combination over the reddish brown and red I originally considered. The guards van was the most original of the three designs. It shares the coach's color scheme with a similar paneling technique. And that finally brings us full circle, because this Talyllyn Railway guards van was the model I reworked to design Beatrice, the Skarloey Railway's guards van. Both models measure 5 studs wide and 12 studs long. Beatrice's part count is roughly 180, while the Talyllyn van comes in just under 170 parts. I built Beatrice in dark azure to match my Skarloey coaches, and gave her a face on the end away from her ticket window ducket, as in the book Very Old Engines. Her planked sides are more similar to my standard gauge trucks than to the Talyllyn van. The Talyllyn Railway Guards van has changed in appearance several times since it was built in the 1860s, and for the most part, Beatrice seemed to follow those changes in the Railway series books. My model of the Talyllyn van reflects its present-day appearance, but Beatrice can swap between her appearance from Wilbert Awdry's books or from his son Christopher's books, where she gained additional windows. In the flashback scenes of Very Old Engines, Beatrice is illustrated with ducats and doors on both sides rather than just one, and I read the Talyllyn van carried these features for a time as well. I haven't designed my model of Beatrice to be modifiable into that form, although it would be straightforward to build if I wanted to in the future. I may not have the full set of 4 coaches plus a guards van for each railway, but I still think the passenger trains I do have look nice being pulled along. I've now shared all the LEGO models in my current collection. Individual instruction sets for Duncan and Beatrice are available for purchase on Rebrickable or by email, while Talyllyn, the coach, and guards van are grouped together into one listing. I'll probably be taking a little break from LEGO modeling, as I typically do after a wave of new models, but I have no doubt I'll return when inspiration strikes again. In the meantime, I'll look to release some wooden railway adaptations of the stories from the book Stepney the Bluebell Engine, which have been filmed for a while but still need to be edited together. As the anniversary celebration comes to a close, I want to thank all of you for 10 years of support on YouTube, as well as 20,000 subscribers. I look forward to seeing where we go next. Signing off for now.